I think like on a daily basis, we're like, hey, I think that's a good idea. Hey, I think that's also a good idea.
Right.
Oh, that's a great idea
like-
also. But like what?
Once we tap into this talent,
Yeah.
they're also been thinking about their concept for the past 10 years too.
Right.
And also, I think we agree on that we hire someone that doing things better than us, right? We hire the manager that manage better than us. We hire the chef that cook better than us. We hire people who do marketing and PR better than us. That's why we're expanding and growing.
Hey there, it's Emily Washkovic from Behind the Review and Yelp. On this show, we talk to entrepreneurs and industry leaders about all the advice that can help your small business grow. Today's conversation is with Jenn Saesue and Chat Suansilphong. They're the founders of 55 Hospitality, which has restaurant concepts in New York. They first opened Fish Cheeks, and when they were ready to expand, they didn't open a second location. They opened a whole new concept, and they've done it now a third time as well. Let's hear how they did it. Everybody, welcome back to Behind the Review. Today is a very special episode. I have two guests with me. I have Jenn Saesue and Chat Suansilphong of 55 Hospitality. These two have two very famous concepts, Fish Cheeks and Bangkok Supper Club, and they're actually in the middle of opening a third concept. I am so excited to have you both join me today. Thanks so much for coming on Behind the Review.
Thank you so much for having us.
Let's have you guys kick off by telling us about that first concept you opened. You were really redefining Thai food when you opened Fish Cheeks. Tell us a little bit about the concept and what getting started looked like.
I'll go, right?
Yeah, perfect.
I think the concept, for us, we wanted to do something different at the time, right? And that was, I want to say back in 2015, right? Before we opened, and we talked even before that. So it was more of, hey, like we want to fill the white space. We want to like, where is a place where we can fill a void. And I think we came up with a concept of it being seafood focused and obviously Thai, right? So once we came up with that concept, we kind of just,
The reason it was seafood because at the time, in Thailand, I grew up in Thailand, and in Thailand, really like the half of the country, like the southern part of Thailand, are surrounded by water.
Yeah.
And we have like a big like seafood, like menu, and food, like Thai food is surrounded by sea, and then the seafood is a majority part of what we're consuming every day, but we didn't see it here in New York City as much.
It's almost like a gap, right? And again, like not to say that it's like that anymore, but I think 10 years ago it was a lot of just like Thai restaurant with the same kind of menu, right? Like the noodles, the fried rice, the curry, and not so much about seafood. So we were like, okay, like I think that's a huge void right there that we can definitely fill.
I love that. And you were staying true to your culinary roots, but also bringing something unexpected to the people of New York. Talk to me a little bit about what you think it takes to build a concept that actually resonates with people, because you've done it more than once now.
I think it just takes a lot of R&Ding, and I think going back and forth and talk it through multiple times just to kind of see, hey, like if this dish fits within the menu, or like does this make sense? Because there's so many dishes actually that did make the cut, right? That we were like, wait a minute, like I don't think that people would understand it, or I don't think that this belongs in the menu. So I think because of that, and we started with me, him, and his brother also. All of us were just kind of like bouncing ideas off of each other. And I think that actually create a great menu.
A lot of talking,
Yeah.
A lot of eating, a lot of tasting, a lot of going shopping, a lot of like trying to explore what's out there, because the ingredients that we have here, the fish that we have here, we don't have it in Thailand.
Yeah.
What tastes the same, what tastes better. There's a lot of that, and a lot of so many version of the menu that we think it was good, and we have to remove it because people doesn't receive it well here. And there's a lot of the fine line between, I think this is cool, should
Yeah.
we just push the boundaries a little bit? You should just put it to like, hey, try to
Hmm.
educate people here that hey, this is how we eat in Thailand. There's a lot of that.
Yeah. But also, like, listen, if you go back to our menu, like first year, like when we first opened, I think I looked back at some old pictures and I sent it to him and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe like people actually liked us. Like the menu was so small that we were like how? Like how did that happen? I can't believe that it was like we survived like from that menu.
But I feel like it was this element of coming up with new things, trying new things that really made people excited. And you guys also go after some pretty well known chefs, having this like, talent first focus where you find amazing chefs or incredible mixologists. How does that kind of play a role into how you've grown and launched these businesses?
I mean, I think that started out with Dustin actually. I think during COVID, we were looking for, another executive chef to run a kitchen because we were like, hey, like we're growing, we're getting bigger. We need someone that has a really amazing like talent for management and at the same time cooking skills, right? So I think we were interviewing a lot of people and Dustin, like we just kind of clicked with Dustin right off the bat. And, the minute he started with us, he didn't have any sort of Thai cooking background before at all. Like he had, like,
Southeast
he's
Asian,
Southeast Asian, but like he's
Italian,
Italian,
French.
French. And, but he was like, hey, listen, like I'm open to learning. I'm very quick at like picking up things. And he is, like he really just kind of like, so really, really surprised us in that way also. And at the same time, we continue to educate him with Thai food. We sent him back to Thailand like multiple times. And we actually like this couple months ago, we brought his like the teacher that he went to in Thailand. We brought her over to teach the
Stuff, yeah.
kitchen. Yeah.
That is so cool. I love that just constant education, right? It's like you don't want to stay still. You don't want to do the same thing. You want to make sure you're cutting edge and really, staying on top of it. I love that.
So like I think once that happens, it kind of give us
Like,
like, oh
it was like
wait a minute.
this work,
Yeah,
right?
this works. Like it doesn't have to be us coming up with a concept. Like it doesn't like we can run the business, we can make sure that it survives and we can make sure that it's set up properly, but like it doesn't like we're not the talent. We don't have to be the talent. So I think, when that happens, it almost kind of like, all right, what is the other possibility that's out there? And I think like Chef Max came in at the right time. He came here like during COVID to get vaccinated, and I saw him at Fish Cheeks, and I was like, wait a minute, like this kid is so like amazing, like he's so talented. I follow his career for probably 10 years, and he was Iron Chef Thailand right hand man. He's like bop around, but he also consults for really amazing restaurants. I'm like, where are you right now? Like, what's going on? Like, do you ever want to have your own restaurants? And he was like, I don't know, maybe, yeah, I guess. And I think a month later he called and he was like, yeah, like actually I want to open a restaurant. And if anywhere, I would love for it to be in New York. So we just kind of got working.
She called me. She was like, at the time we were going to expand Fit Shakes into Los Angeles, and we're about to sign the lease in a week. Next week we have to sign it. We've been working on that like for like half a year with the
Yeah.
lawyer and everything. We're about to sign the lease, and Jen called was like, "Hey, we have this kid that is amazing. If we want something, we want Michelin star. We want to get any award that we've been dreaming about that since we first opened Fit Shake." And she was, "This is the chance. Like, do you want to do it?" I was like, "Let's do it." So we dropped the Los Angeles deal, and we both stay in New York City, and we opened Bangkok Supper Club.
That is amazing. I didn't even know about that you were going to go to LA and do a second
By the way,
location.
we make a lot of people mad, but it is what it is.
Well, maybe someday. It doesn't mean you can't do it later, but it was just not the right time. And I think it's funny when you two say like you find the talent because you guys have your own talents of running businesses. I mean, these restaurants wouldn't be as successful as they are, sure, without the chefs, definitely. But you all find those chefs so that you can focus on the other parts of running the business, like the team and the marketing and all of that. Can you maybe just speak to why it's important for you to spend time on the things you're an expert in and let these other people really soar in the areas that they excel in?
I mean, I truly believe that like you can't do all of it by yourself, right? Like it's almost like, I can do everything, but is it 100% in one area? Is not. So I rather put people in place who can excel in that one area and that can do 100 or even more than 100%, right? And I can focus on other things for them.
I think there's so much one person can do in
Yeah.
terms of like doing it good or even come up with new concept.
Yeah.
Me and Jen can come up with like just so many, like there's not
I think like on a daily basis, we're like, hey, I think that's a good idea. Hey, I think that's also a good idea.
right.
Oh, that's a great idea
Like,
also. But like what
once we tap into this talent,
Yeah.
they're also been thinking about their concept for the past 10 years too.
Right.
And also I feel like I think we agree on that we hire someone that doing things better than us. Right? We hire the manager that manage better than us. We hire the chef that cook better than us. We hire people who do marketing and PR better than us. That's why we're expanding, we're growing.
I love it. And that's great advice for any entrepreneur because sometimes they hold on to stuff for too long and that slows down their opportunity to grow. So I think that's great advice.
No, and listen, like it's not without saying that that didn't happen to us, right? Like I think it took us a while for us from like restaurant number one to restaurant number two because of that. Because we were like, no one can do it. No one can do it better than I can. And then we kind of, I think once Dustin came in, we're like, hey, wait a minute, this is crazy. Like, like I think we need to shift our perspective a little bit and we need to like rethink what we're doing right now. Like, no, like I think it's better to have other people doing the job that is meant for them to do, right? Like they're focusing on one thing and not, me and him, once we walk into the restaurant, there's a million things that we're doing and we're focusing on a million things. So how is that possible that we're good at all million things?
Totally. So learning process, a complete learning process. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this scaling and growth. You kind of shared a little bit about why you decided to do the second concept. You had this chef that was interested, but talk to me a little bit about what scaling looks like when it is a completely different brand. I mean, you want to bring the same hospitality to it, but it's a different concept entirely. What was that like?
I don't know. I think it was difficult, but I think that we still kind of stick to our core. Like we know the type of like people we are, persons who we are, and I think that we look for that in our partners as well. And I think that that has to kind of be aligned. Like
I think another thing is me and Jen get excited to do something new.
right,
It doesn't have to be new, like the first one in the world, but at least
Yeah.
it's new here where we live, right? We get excited about that, and we also have to slow each other down too because we have so many new concepts that we want to do, but we can do. We just want to make it good. I think when we look into a new concept, is we're looking for something new, something no one has done it before, or even they have done it but not in the way that we want to do
Right.
it. Do we have the talent to support that? And then the rest is a lot of talking again, a lot of talking, a lot of thinking.
So you want to fill that missing void. You want to see what you can bring to the market that maybe isn't already there, which is awesome. Let's talk about your new concept that you're about to open, Bub's Bakery. Jen, this is a very personal kind of project and something that comes out of your life experience. Can you share a little bit with us about the bakery and how you guys decided that was your next concept?
Yeah, sure. I mean, my husband, Bob is my husband. He has a lot of intolerances, and it was very hard for me to find any sort of treats, to celebrate him and or to like in any kind of occasion, it was non-existent. And I think one day after we were already working on Bangkok, I told Chad, I was like, hey, I think I have a $1 million idea. I don't know if like it can be like complete success or it can.
She goes like this. So like, hey, you know what? Are you ready to hear this? I was like, what is going on? It was like, I have $1 million idea. don't tell anyone, okay? And then she'd say that, and
He was like, I don't care. What is this?
I was like, are you sure are we doing this? But I was trying to be supportive, right? She got super excited, and I was like, okay, we can explore this. We can talk about this more. And I think I reached out to a couple of people that went to the cooking school with me, and I reached out to four people, and one came back with. He said this at the time he was working as a sous chef at Le Bernardin, and it's like the top restaurant in New York City. And he goes like, I know this lady that been doing consulting for a bread program at Le Bernardin. She's amazing, and if she cannot do it, no one else can do it. It came from the friends that I trust, right? And it come like highly recommended. So I was like, Jen, let's just talk to this lady, and it was Melissa.
You have this network that you're able to go to, even just beyond the two of you, to flush out ideas. And I think that's so important.
Yeah.
It helps you feel confident when you have an idea too.
Yeah. And I think it's also like, the more we talked about it, and I think the moment we met Melissa, we talked to her, and she got excited about the ideas. I think it just almost like kind of like solidified the feeling of like, okay, I'm not crazy, right? Like, because like my husband's like allergens, or it's like intolerances, right? Are gluten, dairy, soy, nuts, some nuts, and also sometimes he's vegan and egg. So I basically threw that whole entire boundary and I like presented to Melissa, and we were like, here, like this is what like it needs to be. And she kind of looked at us like, okay, like, are you sure about this? And we're like, yeah, like I think so.
I think all partners have something in common,
Yeah.
that they love challenge.
Yeah. And but she wasn't, shy away from it. Again, like I reach out to a couple bakers that are like, regular baked traditional like baked goods, and they didn't want to touch anything that I was asking for. They were just like, you're insane. Like, how? Like, this is not possible. Like, it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of like resources. It's going to take a lot of energy for anyone to figure this out, because this is a completely new way of baking. But I think we were just a little bit of naive.
I feel like we get hyped up when it's like no one done that. No one done that. We're gonna have to make it work.
Yeah.
Well, and that keeps you going. I mean, that's the motivation behind why you want to do it and try to figure it out. What I think is so interesting is there's bakeries that maybe have like a gluten-free cookie or muffin or whatever, but this is really across the board. It doesn't touch any of those dietary items. So anyone can go in who has one of those restrictions and order off the menu, and they're not going to deal with any of those ingredients. Maybe can you just speak a little more to that? Because that really is like what's very different beyond just having gluten-free.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, going back, like me, like trying to find like any sort of like pastries, baked goods, cake, like birthday cakes for my husband. It's just like impossible, because it's either vegan, or it's either gluten-free, or it's either dairy-free, or it's nut-free. It's only one thing, or maybe two things. It's never all of the things across the board. And I think now more than ever, kids has more of like the allergic reaction to these things, right? Like I think schools ban a couple items, and like you can't bring regular treats into schools because kids are allergic. And I think for me, seeing that gap and seeing that demand, I'm just like, wait a minute, like this is insane. Like, how is it possible that like it's very obvious that it's empty? Like it's literally a white space, right? Like I keep on referring it because like it's like a void, and like, why is no one filling this? Yes, there's some people that are doing it, but again, it's not everything. But now we learn why, because it takes a long time to figure that out.
It took us 2 years to get here. Like
Yeah.
we did testing every week.
Yeah,
for 2 years.
2 years.
Well, and you and I were talking about this on the prep call. It's like baking in and of itself is like a chemical experiment. And then when you start taking out some of the core things that cause like the chemical reaction for a baked item, it's very complicated. It's not like, oh yeah, let's just make this. It's super easy. It's all about figuring out how these ingredients interact, and if you can get the same. Yeah.
You can't substitute 1-to-1 ratio of things. You can't just take gluten flour out and replace with rice flour.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. And then I think Melissa tried to explain to us, so
multiple
many
times.
times, but like I just too much information, and we just like let it
No,
go.
but she's also no, she's incredible. Her background is also a chemical engineer, and I think that came into play like that came in super handy because the way she thinks about like how she's proofing, how she's making all of these things, how she's combining things, it's incredible and it's amazing to watch.
And she's a perfectionist too,
Yeah.
right? When we first do it, she was able to pull it up like, hey, there's nothing in there, but does it taste good? And her mission was to like, I have to make it taste like
good.
a real thing.
Right.
Like the one with everything in it. It has to taste like that. That's why it took so long.
No, I think also like, she came from her background's incredible. Her sticky bun's like, incredible. Like it's very famous, the babka and all of that. So she's like, I can't put out products that I can't be proud of. Like this has to be like delicious. This has to be amazing, So I think with that, it almost kind of pushed all of us to be like, okay, yeah, okay, then that's not good. Then that's not good. Now we have to revisit it. Let's do it again.
That's awesome. Jenn, you mentioned schools, and I know you guys are partnering with a lot of schools as well to make sure that these baked goods are there for kids who maybe have allergens. Can you just talk a little bit about that partnership and kind of how that's working?
We're working on it, but we did our first pop-up at PS 20 right here on like Houston and Essex. It was super cute. Like that was actually our first pop-up ever. Right? Yeah. And we were giving out cupcakes to the kids and it was the cutest thing. This little girl, we had like limited amount and this little girl, we were telling everyone, hey, like, one per person, okay? Like we just want everyone to try it. She came back. She was like, hey, I'm so sorry. I dropped it. Can I have another one? All of us looked at each other and were like, the frosting.
I see the frosting on your lip. You drop it in your belly then, in your stomach then.
We were like, yes, you can have it, but we were all looking at each other like, really?
Like, and there's one kid that I see them 5 times. I was like, I see you somewhere before, again and again and again.
It was really
that cute. Is so cute. But that's how you know they're good, right? The kids do not eat a second bakery item if it's not good.
I say like, oh, what do you think? It was like 1 out of 10. It was like 12 thumbs up. And the one was like 13 thumbs up. Like, okay, good.
So you're on the right track. I'd say you're vetted. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about online reviews, reputation management. Anytime I'm talking to restaurateurs or people with a food business, I feel like there's so much that you guys hear that's subjective, right? Like maybe someone didn't like the taste of something, but the dish was made exactly how it's supposed to be. Can you guys just talk a little bit about how you think about reviews, how you look at them or leverage them? What's your process when it comes to listening to customer feedback?
I think you have to. Like you can't, there's no way. Like you can try to fight it, you can be annoyed, you can be mad at it, but at the end of the day, like it is a tool, right? And I think that you have to take it with a grain of salt, but you also have to take it seriously sometimes too, because, I think we can kind of spot reviews where we're just like, okay, now you're just being mad, right? And with those, yes, we'll reach out, we'll be apologetic. We wish that everyone would have a good time. And, most of the time we would want to try to change your mind and see what we can do, right? And there are times when, hey, like it's a bad review, but we can see how it actually is our fault. Not it's impossible for us to have like good day every single day. Not mind you, like 100% every single dish. Even though we try to narrow down, we try to systemize everything. We try to make sure that everything is, like in detail exactly the same always. But there's always going to be human error somewhere, right? Like my line cook may be not having a great day today, and somehow the dish that he produced is a little bit off and is not as exactly how it should be. Like, like the chef might not catch that immediately, like with the volume that we're doing. So it's almost like if someone takes their time to say something, we need to listen, right? Because sometimes it is right. Like, hey, like the coconut crab curry was off today. What's going on? Oh, because the chili was different types of chili and it's too spicy today. So like today it's crazy spicy, So we have to take everything in as like an actual,
Every time.
constructive criticism, I want to say, like, and if it's not, then we can kind of spot that too. And we tell our team, hey, like, don't worry about that one. Like, we know, like, that's a little,
I think that's so important because you're right that especially when you operate at scale, you have more employees, there's more chances for human error to come into place, but you also need to be there for your team, you know? And I think it's right sometimes when you recognize that a review maybe isn't something you need to take action on or change because of. It's good to tell your team, like, we read it, we saw it, but it's fine. We're moving forward. Like, it's not, something that we need to focus on right now. And that's important too. You guys actually kind of looked towards reviews to help build your lunch and takeout model for Fish Cheeks, right? Can you tell me a little bit about how that happened?
I mean, in the beginning, it was like we only did dinner and then we start doing lunch and it was so quiet. And Chad was like, oh my God, let's bring this in. Let's bring that in. We start doing like
Lunch,
lunch
lunch
menu.
menu, like the things over rice. We put everything with carb and rice and try to like do a complete meal in one plate, and then do it cheaper.
Yeah. But then it wasn't hitting. And I think there were some reviews that were like, hey, like we were there, but we were expecting dinner menus and it's not there. So we are kind of shift immediately. We were like, wait a minute. Like, so people don't want this. People want like the regular menu that we serve dinner time, but they want that during lunch as well.
I think we were thinking that no one would spend that much money for lunch.
Right.
That's why we tried to think for them. We're like, I'll spend $20,
Right.
$15 and get everything.
Right.
It didn't hit. But
Right.
once we put the dinner menu on the lunch, and
We're
people
like,
were just
okay.
ordering the same thing. And we're like,
Yeah.
wow, this worked for me.
Yeah.
I don't have to set up the new station. I don't have to bring the new dish in.
Yeah.
But I also make more money. That came from the reviews.
That's such a great example because you were trying to think like the consumer, put yourself in their mind. And that's a great way to start as a business owner. But then you have to listen to them after you try whatever idea you have and see if it actually resonates. And I almost feel like people wanted the dinner menu at lunch because maybe Fish Cheeks was really busy at dinner and they couldn't come for dinner or they didn't want to wait. So they're like, I'm going to try it during lunch.
Yeah.
But also, there's
that.
some reviews that were saying like, "Oh, it's way too spicy. It's not friendly. They're gonna fail soon within a year." I will joke, I will laugh about it with my sister. That when we know, right? We go back and taste the food, but it tastes exactly the way we want it to taste. So maybe that's not our clients, and we just let it go.
Such an important point, Chet, because you can't make a change every time someone says something, but sometimes it's valuable, right? So analyzing that and determining that is really important. You guys have provided such great information. I feel like I'm just going to ask you maybe one or two quick outro questions and we're all set. Cool. Okay. If you were talking to a restaurateur and they were just about to open a second concept, what would be your number one piece of advice? Something you wish someone had told you maybe?
I think
For me, I don't think I'm in the position to advise another restaurateur. You know what I mean? I don't.
imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome. We still go through it.
Right. I don't think I'm that good yet, but like let's say my friend, let's call it my friends coming to ask advice to open a restaurant. I would say, did you do your homework? Did you actually, do all the due diligence that you need to do? You know your food cost, labor cost, what it has to be. If they are really a good friends of mine, I would just probably tell them all that. And then if they believe in the concept, just go with it.
Also, I want to add, like, I think investing in your team, finding the right team members, because I think once you have your first, right? When you have one, it's great. Everything's under control. You can do it. No problem. Even if you have a great team here, everything's under control, it's fine. But the minute you have the second one, now the first one is going to feel some type of way. They're sometimes going to feel a little abandoned. So you need to make sure also that, the second one is going to have a strong team that is set in place and ready to go right off the bat also, so that you can have time for both concept and you're not dropping the ball, because you're not dropping the first ball when you're focusing on the second one.
great advice. I think, honestly, in that same vein, to wrap us up, what do you think builds that strong trust, whether it's with your team, which I think you have a great system going, or with guests? Like, what do you think maybe helps curate trust between a business and their team or their customers?
Me and Jen are in day in day out every day with the team. So
Yeah.
we are here as a support roles.
Yeah.
So whatever they want, whatever they need, we are here. You can never actually let go and not. We have meetings
Every day.
left and right.
Yeah.
Every concept needs us there.
Yeah.
So I think that's.
I think, you know, people want to feel supported. They know what they're doing most of the time. Like, I want to say 100% of the time they know what they're doing, but sometimes because they can't be the one that make that final decision, and if you're not there with them to make that decision with them for them, then you slow down their process, right? Like, you slow them down, and now they're waiting for you to make that call, and but they're kind of like, okay, I'm stuck with what I'm doing because I'm waiting for you. So I always, like, if they don't see me, I always call in. What do you need from me? What do you need from me? What do you need from me? Literally, like, that's my main question. Like, it's always, I know that I might be forgetful. I'm very forgetful nowadays. Like, I live by my calendar. If you don't put it in my calendar, I don't know what's happening. But the only thing that is constant is, hey, what do you need from me? Do I owe you anything? What else? You know, like, I think I always check in to make sure that, like, and, you know, most of the time they're like, no, I'm good, I'm fine. You know, like, I think that's very important.
But you're there, and I think by proactively asking, they also probably proactively bring stuff to you too. So that's great advice. Checking in with the team, asking what they need. You guys have been amazing. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with our listeners, or anything I didn't give you a chance to talk about?
Come check us out at Bubs.
Yeah. Okay. When is Bubs opening? That's the perfect way to close.
We're opening end of September.
Great. So by the time this launches, Bubs will be out.
Amazing.
So go check out Bubs if you're in New York. I love it. Well, thank you both so much. And everyone tuning in, we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you so
Thank you so
much for
much.
having us, Emily.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel or whatever podcast platform you're listening on, so you get an alert next week when we drop another story. Be sure to email me at podcasts@yelp.com if you have questions or want to be on a future episode. And if you want to learn more about 55 Hospitality, head to their website. The link's in the show notes.